welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. And I'm here with
Michelle from Way to Sun. Hi!
And we're doing a Bentley biography.
Ooh!
This is going to be one of my police stories.
And why am I here then?
Well, because you're involved in every aspect of my life.
This is true.
Yes.
I meddle. I'm just kidding.
So anyway, this was back in my days when I used to hang out with the police department, and I used to work at a department store chasing shoplifters around. And how many years ago was that?
Well, you've been out of it for 11 years, so it's been a while.
Yeah, okay, so I've been out of it for 11 years, and it was probably a few years prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this was, what, 12 or 13 years ago then?
About 14 years ago.
14 years?
Yeah.
All right, we'll say 14. Who knows?
Who knows?
Anyway, so the situation was... Okay, well, first of all, I will explain why I've decided to do this video is because several weeks back, the police department here in town does something they call, what do they call that?
Rolling roll call.
Rolling roll call. And what they do is they go to different businesses, facilities, and they do roll call at these facilities. I don't know why they do it.
The captain at the time that started this thought it was a good way for them to make contact with people outside the police force in the community as a way to build community relations.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work. And
sadly,
the cops don't like it either.
Yeah, the officers all decided that, you know, go in, do roll call, leave. It didn't become the community event the way he kind of wanted it to. His goal was good. His goal was, he had a good thing in mind.
It was a good idea, it just didn't work.
It just didn't work very well.
So anyway, she works at a veterans apartment complex. And they did one of their roll calls at her facility. So anyway, I was there, and this was what, night shift?
It was the 6 p.m., so yeah, it'd be the midnight shift.
Okay, so I showed...
Or 10 p.m.? Maybe it was 10
somewhere.
p.m.
I showed up to the late shift roll call. And while there, one of the police officers recognized me. And we got to talking and chatting. Well, it was his second day. Yeah, it was his second day as a police officer when this occurred.
15 years ago.
About 15 years ago. 14, 15 years ago. So this was his second day as a police officer, and he remembered it. And he remembered it
fondly.
He remembered it quite well.
He was very smiley when he started talking about it. And when he saw Richard, he was like, hey.
Yeah, so we talked about it. So anyway, he came up to me and asked me if I remembered the situation. And he asked me if I remembered the guy. Well, I asked, well, what did he steal? Because that's how I remember people, by what they stole. So he told me what he took, and I said, oh, I remember him. And then we discussed the incident. Here's the story. I'm at work, and we already had somebody in our office for shoplifting. And
in the loss prevention office.
In the loss prevention office. And there was already a guy in there, and we usually worked with 3 or 4 guys. So there was at least one guy, I can't remember who it was. Anyway, I think it was, anyway. There was one guy in the office already. We stopped another guy who was stealing alcohol, and we got him into the store manager's office. And we're sitting in there. No, I take that back. We went to the secretary's office. We was in the secretary's office. So we had him sitting in there, and we were talking to him. And we asked him where he was from. He said Chicago. As soon as we found out he was from Chicago.
Ding, 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 ding.
Right, yeah, yes. There's only...
a couple of people that come through Kokomo for sure, from Chicago.
The only reason, and this may be profiling, but it works. The only reason people come from Chicago to Kokomo, one reason, and I'm not even going to mention it, but anyway, there's only one reason that they come from Chicago.
It's not legal.
And it's not a legal thing, no. But anyway, so we found out that he was from Chicago, And he was really super nice about the whole thing. All he wanted to do was cooperate and get out.
Sign his paperwork and leave.
Yeah, so we knew there was a problem. So one of the other guys
That's just too suspicious.
nonchalantly walked out and called the police. Well, we kept him all happy and talking while the police showed up. As soon as the police came in, he freaked out. I mean, he jumped up on the chair, jumped up on the desk, and jumped out the door, right past two officers, right out the door. So anyway, we knew, oh, we was having a good time that night.
Richard's like, it's on!
I was excited. I love a good fight.
Hands on, let's go!
So anyway, he jumps out in between those two officers, and there were 3 officers there that night, including myself. So, and I don't know where the other guy, I think he was in the other office, but anyway, we get out in the hallway. So, and he like bends over and starts to dive at the police officer in front of him. So there's a police officer behind him, there's a police officer in front of him, he's in the middle, and I'm on his side. So as he bends over to go after that cop, I jump on his back and put him into a neck hold. And I was restraining him with a neck hold. So anyway, I'm on his back. These 2 cops are just standing there, and then the 3rd cop is off on the background, and they're not doing nothing.
Ah, you got it, they said. Richard's got it.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's not our lawsuit. Let Richard handle it.
as soon as I get him in the neck hold, he falls to the ground, and for some reason he couldn't breathe. So I'm laying on top of him,
with the neck hold,
restraining him nicely, and he's down there going like that. So
okay, now in hubby's defense, I have seen this neck hold used not only like for real life use like it is here, but I've seen it done in training, and I have seen it done in cage fights and in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments. Yes, the person sounds awful for about 5 seconds.
Oh, it's not nearly.
And then it's done. So please don't get on here saying, "Oh my God, you were trying to kill him." No.
I know what I'm doing.
It was all done in a controlled manner. Yes, he's laughing about it.
Yeah.
What you guys don't understand is this was our life for a very long time. This was a big, happy part of our lives for a very long time.
Very much so. Very much so.
And Richard is very skilled at his technique and what he does. Yes, you are, and stop doing that.
Okay. So anyway.
So don't get on here and bash him because you and I will have words, just saying.
So anyway, I love how she protects me.
Oh, sorry.
So I was able to get him flat on his stomach and under complete control. So I hear his reaction. I was not making any attempt to knock him unconscious, because if I was, he'd already been unconscious. I was just restraining him, and that's the God's honest truth. I was just restraining him. I wasn't trying to knock him out.
This guy was not trying to play.
Oh, he was huge.
Games.
Dude, this guy was huge.
Well, and he wasn't trying to play. He wanted to get out of there, and
well, yeah, for what he was doing.
we don't know.
His extracurricular activities was going to put him away for a long time.
And you don't know how far he would have gone to get out of that situation either. Right now, he was just running, but
that's true.
At this point, they don't know if there's weapons involved.
So
So
anyway, I got him completely on the ground, under control. The 2 cops are just standing there. The 3rd cop in the background isn't. He's like, I saw. He's like,
holy cow!
He didn't know what was going on. So anyway, I looked back, and at this time the police officer in front moved behind everything. So I'm facing this direction. I've got all 3 police officers behind me. So I turn around and I said, "Do you want me to let him go?" And all 3 of them in sync, all 3 of them go, "No!" I'm like, okay. So I tightened up because he was squirming a little bit, and it was kind of making me mad. So I tightened up just enough to
remind him of where he was.
Well, no, I knocked him out. So I put him asleep, and I did it on purpose. I knocked him out.
And again, they don't stay. It's not like in the movies where they're out for a minute, 2 minutes.
Oh, good Lord, no.
5 seconds later, they're back awake.
As soon as you release pressure and the oxygen and the blood, because I was doing more of a blood choke than I was
You mean a blood hold?
No, I was choking his ass.
Oh.
That's my channel.
Sorry.
My channel. I was choking him. At that point, I decided he was going unconscious. I knocked him out.
Okay.
As soon as I knocked him out, I released the pressure on him, and it only takes like maybe 15 seconds at best, and they're completely fine.
And
so
that's a person that takes a long time to recover.
Yeah, I mean, usually in 5 or 6 seconds, you're awake
You're
again.
fine. Yeah.
So as soon as he woke up, he started struggling a little bit more. And
bad idea.
so he started moving after that. Now, granted, take this into consideration. The police officers are behind me. I'm facing this way. They're all three back there. I cannot see them at this point. All of a sudden, I hear one of the officers go, "Don't do that. Richard's on his back." I legitimately thought he had his gun out. I thought somebody was getting ready to get shot and it was going to be me. I didn't even think about a taser.
In which case, Michelle would have had all kinds of
Well,
words.
I didn't even think about a taser. The only thing I thought was somebody had their gun pulled. So the next thing I know, there's a hand reach around in front whoosh, and empties a can of mace in our faces. Now,
notice he said "our" because it wasn't just the.
Oh no, I got
hit
hard.
It got hubby too.
So anyway, they were trying to get him. Completely understandable. I mean, they liked me. They liked me.
They did.
So anyway,
some of them still do.
Some of them still do.
Some of them still do.
So anyway, I get an entire police issued mace in my face. Now I'm going to tell you this. I closed my eyes as soon as I saw the hand come around because I knew what was coming.
And you were wearing glasses.
And I was wearing glasses. But I don't know if they were on at that point.
I was going to say, did they get knocked off before?
I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll tell you this. You cannot breathe when you get police-issued mace sprayed in your face. You can't breathe. Which didn't bother me because it didn't bother me.
Richard's not affected by stuff like that. Like, to him, it's just like, okay.
I still had adrenaline and I was still... Anyway, I still had a hold of him. And the funny thing was, is even after I got maced, this guy started legitimately screaming and crying. I'm sitting there.
And again, this is a big guy.
This is a huge guy.
We're talking 6'4".
Oh, he was
6'6".
couple 2.5, 250. But he was muscle. He wasn't fat.
Yeah, he was all big.
So
guy.
anyway, at that point, the police said, "Okay, Richard, you can let him go now." So I said, "Are you sure?" And I heard, "Yes, you can let him go now." So I let him go, and I got off of him. I went up against the wall, and I'm standing there, but I'm crouched down a little bit, and I still can't breathe because that stuff is effective, really. So anyway, this guy is crying, legitimately crying and whining and screaming that he can't breathe and all this kind of stuff. I look over at him, and my exact words were, "Stop bitching, I got maced too, and I'm not crying like a little bitch." So anyway, one of those 3 police officers was actually, that was his second day there. And
he was at the roll call.
He was at the roll call
he was like,
a
"Dude,
few
I
weeks
love
ago.
That story. I still remember that."
He still talks about that story. So I thought that it would be a good idea to kind of, because I can talk a lot of trash about how I think police are out of control.
And on a lot of levels they are.
And on a lot of levels they are. But there are circumstances. They have a rough job, guys. They have a seriously rough job. Now, I'll talk bad about them every day of the week, but I'll also talk good about them every day of the week too. So it just depends on the situation.
It's like any profession. There's dark and there's light with every situation.
So anyway, that's my I got maced story by the police. I got maced by the police.
He calls me and says, "Guess what?" I'm like,
anyway,
what?
So I call her after I get a rag and I wash my face off and the adrenaline goes down a little bit. I call her and I say, "Guess what happened?" She goes, "What?" I go, "I just got maced by the cops. And it was great, and I loved it."
What? Wait, what? Are you okay? Wait, are you okay? Are you going to the hospital? He's like, "I'm fine." I'm like,
"Yeah." So.
Okay. You got like it was so surreal that I literally had to ask him like 3 times, you got maced? He's like, yeah. I'm like, and you're okay? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it was just weird.
It was fantastic.
And of course,
it was fun.
In true Richard fashion, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. I love it.
You're an idiot.
So, yeah. So that's my I got maced by the police story. So thank you for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. And don't forget to go check out Way Too Sun. She's awesome.
I try.
Mwah, I love her so much. Bye.